Welcome to this week's edition of the Weekly Travel Alert. I'm Steve Glenn.
I'm Paul Glenn.
And Paul's the CEO of Executive Travel. Paul, how many years we've been in the saddle doing this?
39 years.
And it gets better every year.
Every year goes faster. Every year's got something new and exciting to deal with. And it's fun because it's ever changing.
Well, and we are blessed to be in the travel business. A lot of people have to sit in a cubicle all day and crunch numbers. We get the fun of exploring the world in addition to the hard work of working for travel management that we help companies all over the world manage their travel for their travelers. And people ask, what is a travel agency? What's a travel management company? Basically, there's quite a difference.
There's definitely a difference, and I think that's there's a change in mindset that if you look back 15, 20 years ago, you had to go to a travel agency if you wanted to book that airline ticket to go see grandma in Chicago. Well, obviously technology has changed a lot. So, the value that we bring in corporate travel management is more consultative, and then also with all the data. So to be able to one, know who's going when, where, all those logistics there. So if something happens in the world, we can make sure that we're working on safety and duty of care type issues. But then two, having that data so we can go out and leverage it. So go negotiate hotels, airline deals on behalf of our corporate clients to make sure that they're maximizing their spend.
And we set up travel websites for our companies that are private sites for their travelers to literally go online, book the ticket, book their travel, comes into us. We help them manage that and use that data to negotiate better airfare deals, car rental deals, hotel deals. We do hundreds of hotel deals all over the world.
We do thousands of hotels all over the world on an annual basis. Yes.
So that's the fun of travel management. Every week, the Weekly Travel Alert comes to 100,000 people via email. You can go to executivetravel.com. But today we'd like to go through some very interesting airfare information.
Okay.
And what we found is I'm going to start off with the Weekly Travel Alert headline number 1.
Okay.
Executive Travel's Airfare Index shows low airfares are making fall travel the bargain of the year. Paul, every month now we do the Executive Travel Airfare Index. Mm-hmm. We do 3 indexes: domestic airfares, international coach airfares, and international business class airfares. What we found is some amazing information. And we also think that people need to be aware that there are certain times of the year that are great value times to travel. Mm-hmm. Guess what? Ding-a-ling-a-ling. Now is the time.
Fall is one, yes.
Fall is one of those. Here we go. So prices have dropped in the last 60 days to amazing levels. And Executive Travel's Domestic Airfare Index shows a continuation of these low prices. What we do on that index is every month, we just did this on the 23rd of June.
Okay.
We compare prices from Omaha, which is right in the center of the U.S., to New York, Chicago, Dallas, Los Angeles, and Orlando. And we found that the fares from a month ago declined an additional $12 round trip, and they came in at an amazing $209 round trip.
For an average round trip ticket to those cities.
We haven't seen that in years, have we?
I was actually looking at some other airfare, not tied to these cities, but for travel this fall, and I was surprised they were in the lower 200s as well. So,
didn't you pay a ticket to? Was it?
I had a meeting in Florida earlier this year for an incentive trip, and it was $900 for
come
that.
on.
So now you can do 4 trips for the price of 1.
All right.
So
hey,
take the whole family. There you go. There's the deal of the day.
There's the deal. Now, hey, number 2 on the list is international coach airfares are the biggest summer bargains in years. So basically, building on our domestic airfare index, we build a European coach class index, okay? And we compared ticket prices from Omaha, again, to Paris, London, Rome, Amsterdam, and Athens. So that's kind of the 5 strong markets that people and airlines travel to as of June 23rd. And you're not going to believe this. The average rate was less than $700 round trip.
So it's a good 40% lower than probably same time last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, $1,100, $1,200 would have been a good deal last summer.
$1,500, $1,800
It's
last
normal,
summer.
yeah,
In 2000, we saw coach class tickets for some of our tours at $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
So these are really low, and we want people to know the average actually was $665 round trip. So that's a tremendous value. And I'm looking at these numbers. I'm thinking this should be the dead of winter prices, and they're not even low then. Mm-mm. So now we've come up to the next headline on this week's Weekly Travel Alert. You can go to executivetravel.com again. We're down at 1212 Street in Lincoln, Nebraska. Been here for 30 years or so?
30 years in this building, yep.
Yeah. So enjoying, come down and visit us. We got friendly people down here to help you. Not only do we do corporate travel management, but we do vacation travel.
Vacation team that's here on site.
We do groups, a lot of groups, and we have a women-only travel department called Women of the Midwest, and man, are they popular.
It's those ladies like to travel. They like to go explore, and they like to actually, besides the travel and the great, amazing, very unique trips that the team puts together for those, I think it's the traveling and making new friends aspect of it.
It's friendships.
You get 20 people that come together that don't know each other. They spend 7 to 10 days together, and everyone's bound to come home with a new best friend.
They got a lot of girlfriends when they come home. That's right.
Drinking a little wine in Italy, you make some new friends.
Hey, the next headline in this week's Weekly Travel reads, business class to Europe is so low, everyone should consider a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to fly business class to Europe. Paul, if you've never done a lay flat travel to Europe, I don't know if I'd want to travel to Europe without lay flat.
Well, you heard my Hawaii where I didn't get upgraded coming back, and just sitting in an upright seat for that was an 8-hour flight to Denver. Yeah, it makes you appreciate that. But I think you're selling this as a once in a lifetime, whereas the reality is this kind of like on a cruise when first time you get a balcony, you're never going to cruise again without a balcony. When you fly business class to Europe, you're never going to do. It's the Ray Kerr story.
Yeah, that's right.
He says, I'm not going if I can't afford to sit in business class.
Hey, let me tell you about some of these great prices. We do the analysis again from Omaha to those cities. We've got Paris, London, Rome, Amsterdam, and Athens. And we say, what is the lowest business class fare for the months of August, September, October, and November for this month? The next 4 months out in advance. And we found that the average ticket price for business class was $3,445 round trip business class. Now, we've seen business class tickets to Europe 3x that. For sure, 2x.
I've been watching here for the last month regarding the trip that I've got to Italy and just kind of seeing what was out there in case I had some friends that wanted to join. And, I think a key to this and everything we're talking about here is that you're looking out and you're booking in advance. Yeah. Because as soon as we got within 14 days of when I was departing, all of a sudden the tickets that Faith and I are on for $3,600 a person, those became $8,500 a person. So that became, $17,000 instead of $7,000. So it's something where you want to figure out what you're going to do and commit. Don't wait and think that they're going to continue to drop. Now, the reality is could those same tickets that are now $8,500 a ticket 48 hours before departure, which I actually did just look here within the last half an hour, and they're still at $7,200 a ticket.
That's a good time to use a frequent flyer miles.
It's a good time to get the value out of the frequent flyer miles. But if they're still sitting with empty seats, they're bound to figure out how can they turn those seats into cash instead of giving somebody that upgrade if they want to.
I just made a booking from Chicago to Rome. I found a $3,084 round trip ticket to Rome. And I thought, I'm not sure these days are exact, but I locked it in. I bought the ticket. And the reason being is I can use that residual money. Even if I don't use it, I can cancel it and use that toward another ticket. As long as it's higher price, I can use the full value of that.
Which
So I'm not out money. I'm going to travel to Europe unless I kick the bucket in the next month or two.
and you're not going to find a ticket business class. It's going to be less than what you paid for that
Yeah,
one.
so-
And you've got 12 months to use it.
Yeah, so I'm not out any money. We should do a strategy session on that with a lot of our listeners and watchers to the Weekly Traveler. We hope you'll join us again as we come back to you in future weeks about all the activities of summer travel. From Executive Travel, I'm Steve Glenn.
Thank you for joining us. Please like, subscribe, share, and add any comments or feedback on topics that would be of interest for future episodes. We'll see you next week.